Now for our featured story of the day. Michael Saylor suggests to Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, to buy $600 million worth of Bitcoin. So let's break down this tweet. And also, I guess I'll preface this with, more recently, Michael Saylor gave a 3-minute speech to the Microsoft board of directors and pitching why they should put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Unfortunately for them, Microsoft that is, because Bitcoin doesn't need them, they need Bitcoin, they denied it. But nonetheless, Saylor is the man at orange pilling rich folk, as we know. And so it's pretty cool to see some interaction between Jeff Bezos, one of the richest in the world. I would speculate maybe the second on paper. I'm pretty confident Elon is the richest in paper. I heard Elon hit the $400 billion club, the first human being in existence on paper to do so. But let's break this one down. So yeah, Jeff Bezos was ultimately shooting down alleged rumor or allegation that they were planning like a crazy extravagant wedding for like, was it $600 million? So ultimately, let me just read you the tweet. Bezos wrote, "Furthermore, this whole thing is completely false. None of this is happening," I guess referring to the $600 million wedding. "The old adage, don't believe anything didn't he just like successfully divorce and have to pay the wife half the assets? You know what I mean? Obviously, if he did get married, it's, prenup, but I digress. Is even more true today than it ever has been. Now lies can get all the way around the world before the truth can get its pants on. Be careful out there." But anyways, Saylor responded to all that mess and wrote, $600 million would buy a lot of the biddy. And it sure would. Can someone run the math? How many Bitcoin can Jeff Bezos smash by with $600 million? And what's $600 million to a billionaire worth hundreds of billions? It's nothing. That would be considered bearish. And let me tell you why that is here. There was a $7 trillion asset manager recently here on the Schwab network preaching that if you don't have at least 10% of your assets in Bitcoin, you are going to fall significantly behind. Now, run some math. And I'm not a math whiz, but this is what it says. 900 trillion times 10% is 90 trillion of a hypothetical demand. 90 trillion, which I know we have more than that in the total addressable financial market, which people speculate is 300-400 trillion. So it's very doable, by the way. Max Kaiser, in fact, has said he believes half of that will flow into Bitcoin, half the total addressable financial market. So this is very conservative. 90 trillion times the 6x multiplier would equal a 540 trillion market cap. And that would turn Bitcoin to 25.7 million per biddy. And again, that's just with a 10% allocation of the assets into Bitcoin. What happens if it was 50% and Max's numbers are more accurate? Holy moly. Talk about 100 million Bitcoin becoming a possibility here. Pretty amazing. Now, another breaking thing for the 7th week in a row, Mikey Saylor posted the Saylor Bitcoin tracker every single time he has done this. The following day, he announces a massive Bitcoin acquisition. So my speculation leads me to believe tomorrow, Michael Saylor, very bright and early in the morning, is going to say, "We just purchased another $5 billion of Bitcoin, adding an additional 50,000 Bitcoin to the balance sheet." So you already know. I mean, look at the orange tracker every single time without fail. So Michael Saylor already has his company, at least 430,000 plus Bitcoin. His goal is to control 5% of the circulating supply, which I have no doubt in my mind he'll do it because he figured out the Saylor put where he can just borrow infinite money doing some convertible shareholder stock witchcraft at the end of the day. I'm not going to pretend to understand how all that works. I'm not a corporate guy. But nonetheless, he figured it out. And he's just going to continue to buy at virtually 0% interest and stack as many Bitcoin as possible. And a lot of the corporations are going to follow the Saylor put because if they don't, they're going to get left behind. And so let's see if Bezos takes some advice from the Giga Chat, and let's see how much of a $1 billion purchase he announces tomorrow. That's what I'm anticipating, at least. So let me know your thoughts on that. And do you think Amazon will eventually adopt Bitcoin as a form of payment? Because I want you to think about this. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just assuming, I would assume Amazon is the largest retailer in the world. I mean, the two things I think of when I think of retailers, Amazon, largest online, and Walmart. Correct me if I'm wrong if something's bigger than those two. They're juggernauts. But if they start accepting Bitcoin payments, they can save themselves billions of dollars just in transaction fees that don't have to go to frickin' Visa, MasterCard, Amex, or whatever the traditional legacy payment rails they're using. This would be extremely significant because with a Bitcoin transaction, the transaction is the settlement. That's the genius of Bitcoin. The transaction is the settlement. The retailers can literally save billions of dollars and pass those savings to their customers. If you can purchase things with Bitcoin and save money, who wouldn't do so? So let me know your thoughts on that. I think it's a sign of the times and it's inevitable. Will they do that likely in 20? I don't know what year they're going to do it, but eventually all the companies will adopt Bitcoin some way, somehow. And all the companies already have exposure to Bitcoin some way, somehow. Let's not forget, 90% of the companies of the S&P 500 who are the primary shareholders. BlackRock's in the top 3 of every company, including Microsoft, including MicroStrategy, right? It's always Vanguard, BlackRock. The same people own everything. You know what I mean? And we're trying to change that with the Biddy. But let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you think Bezos will do the smart thing and adopt Bitcoin